Hey guys, and thank you so much for tuning into my channel. My name is DeLadysigner, and finally it's time to start working on City Zoo. And in this episode, we will be building a meerkat habitat. But quickly, before we jump into it, let us thank our very first fantastic sponsor of the channel, Instant Gaming. At Instant Gaming, you can get your most favorite games with up to 70, sometimes even 90% discount. If you use the link in the description down below, you will get an amazing discount and you will also be supporting the channel. And to celebrate this awesome collaboration, we are doing a special giveaway where you can win a game of your choice. So just click the link in the description of this video, enter the game or DLC you would like to win, and participate. Good luck! And I know a lot of you kept asking for it, so finally we are here. But for those people that did ask for it, I hope you do understand that sometimes I'm just really not feeling super creative in certain zoos, or I just don't know where to start exactly. Not to mention the fact that we started a new zoo last week, so that also took a lot of time, and of course, we also uploaded Koali Zoo, so I really do hope that you all enjoyed the return of the lovely Koali Zoo. Thank you so much for all the support under the video, because that was definitely overwhelming, so thank you guys so much for that. But yeah, if you don't see me uploading a certain zoo, there is always a reason for it, and you should know by now, if you have been following me for a while, that I will never just abandon a zoo or something. There's always a reason, but as soon as I am able to get back, then I will get back to my zoos because I want to finish all my zoos. So that is why I hope you guys understand. And we are back now, finally, with City Zoo. So now I finally found the right spot also for these meerkats, because that was probably the biggest issue for me. I just didn't know exactly where I wanted to add these new animals. And we're also probably going to add the Fennec Fox in this area in a later stage. And I also wanted to have these animals as close as possible to our African region. So I think right over here next to the entrance, it's actually not even a bad spot. They're right on the opposite side of the greater flamingo and the ring-tailed and red-ruffed lemur. So I think that this is a very nice spot for two more African animals. And after that, when we finish these two habitats, then we will close this side off with the dingoes, because on the other side of this gap that we have, there is the red kangaroo. So this would basically close off the Australian area that we started a long time ago. But it's really cool to see this area finally being filled up with more animals and just with, yeah, finishing up the areas belonging to the continent. So I do really like that. So yeah, sometimes it just takes some time to find the perfect spot for your animals in your zoo. But I'm very happy. Now that we have found a good spot for the African animals, we can finally continue with our city zoo. So that is just really cool. Obviously, we will also get back soon to Little Asia. But hey, we have so many different things going on right now. We have Ponta Zoo, we have Koali Zoo, we have Abaya Zoo, we have City Zoo, and we have franchise mode. So yeah, I can only work on one project at a time. But I just really love it to have different things going on again. I think it's just wonderful. I really hope you guys enjoy it as much as I do. Oh, and we also have, did I mention Ponta Zoo? I'm not entirely sure, but Ponta Zoo is going to return as well this week, because finally the polar bears are able to deep dive now. So I'm finally able to continue with the huge polar bear habitat that we are building in Ponta Zoo. But also, I really would love to add the African penguins to that zoo. Even though maybe they don't really belong to the climate, I think we just have to add the African penguins to the aquatic dome that we're building. And obviously, they will get this indoor section, so we can give them heaters and stuff. So I think it doesn't really matter that much. I really would love to add the African penguins to Ponta Zoo as well, but that will be for later, okay? But okay, back to the meerkat habitat that we're building. So we started off with this indoor section that you're seeing right now. Now, since this is City Zoo, many of the habitats are actually a bit too small for these animals. So, as I also mentioned in the Abaya Zoo series, if you have seen those episodes, this habitat is going to be a lot smaller than they actually recommend. I can't tell exactly what the size is of the habitat, because with the new sandbox settings, you can't really see these measurements anymore. So I really have no idea, and I'm not going to change the sandbox settings all the time to check. I'm just going to enjoy the builds that I'm doing, and hopefully you guys will enjoy that as well, and that I'm able to inspire you guys with these builds. So the build I'm now creating will be split up into 2 different sections. One for the indoor habitat and one for the keeper's hut and the keeper's gate. I thought it would be nice for a change to integrate these keeper hut. So that's why I added this one on the back side of the building. And I do really like how this building has turned out. And then you have like this little window of the keeper's gate looking into the habitat. So the keeper can already see how the meerkats are doing and if they're hungry, etc. So at the round shaped side of the building will be glass fences. So the guests will be able to look inside of their indoor habitat as well. The indoor habitat will have this rock formation and a little cave with hay beddings for the meerkats to rest and get warm from, of course, this European climate we have going on in our city zoo. So obviously the indoor building will be made with limestone and clay roof tiles to match the entrance, which is super close. So like when you come through the entrance, right away on your right side, you will have the meerkat habitat now. And the interiors will be with the green plaster pieces, and is something that we use for a lot of habitats around this area. So think of the gorilla and the chimpanzee and the rhino, pygmy hippos, etc. We use this a lot also with the red-ruffed lemurs and the ring-tailed lemurs. So yeah, those green plates are definitely inspired of those habitats, just to keep it all in more of the same style we have going on in our city zoo. And the floor of the interior will be covered with, of course, some aquatic rocks and some desert rocks in a later stage as well. It's really nice to have such small animals so we can still have a bit of freedom on the inside as well, because it's really not that big. But yeah, we were able to create this rock formation with the aquatic rocks. Obviously, this indoor section is small, so you really can't go too crazy with all the pieces, but you really have to stick with the small little rocks you have with the aquatic pack. But I think it works just perfectly, and the meerkats are able to walk around wherever they want to. So I do really like that. So to give the building a little bit of more of a natural, or maybe African look, I used the log walls and logs itself to decorate the building a little bit more. Also to make it blend in a little bit more with the nature that will be around it, because it's definitely going to be very dense around this habitat with just like the oak trees and all the European kind of trees. Just like we have going on a lot in our city zoo. So the outdoor section will be obviously a little bit bigger than the indoor section, but not really super big. Like, I remember myself of the small meerkats habitat that they had in my favorite zoo when I was younger, in Rotterdam Zoo, Blijdorp, whatever could it be. But this is not inspired by it, don't get me wrong, but I did remember that habitat was obviously very small back in the days, but obviously over the years Rotterdam Zoo gave these guys a really lovely bigger new home. But yeah, for our city zoo we're gonna go for this more smaller habitat that you would see in a older city zoo. So yeah, as I said, I don't know the recommendations. I do know the recommendations. I don't know the measurements of the habitat size, but I think it definitely feels a lot more realistic for at least the time that I remember back in the days. If it's good for them, that's a different question, okay? But it's really a lot of fun to build these smaller type of habitats, so I'm really enjoying this though. So for the interiors and also later for the outdoor section, I started using more of the African logs to decorate the whole area. Someone recommended that with my Abaya Zoo, and I was like, yes, I need to use these logs more often. So I started using them in Koali Zoo and Abaya Zoo and now in City Zoo. So yeah, I just really love those African logs, and they really give that extra touch and extra little details in your habitat. So do really love that. So thank you for the one that reminded me that we have these just simple logs, but they do just super well for your habitats. So when I drew the fences for the outdoor area, I've made some custom fences with the limestone and the wooden pieces. And after that, I laid out the path to make it all look more interesting, open, but also yet more closed off in a way. Like, I really wanted to make sure that the viewing areas for the meerkats would not be directly connected with the main path, or like that the main path would be the viewing area for the Meerkat habitat. I really wanted to avoid that. So I wanted to make sure that the viewing areas would not be getting like bottlenecks and those kind of things. So the Meerkats really have their own viewing area separated from the main path, and it will be connected with 3 different sides. So that little open area that you can see in between the fence and the path, or like the glass and the path, I covered with a lot of plaster pieces because I found it a little bit better looking to have this idea that you have path everywhere. That's one of the things that you can't really do in Planet Zoo, just have the fence exactly connected to your path. So yeah, with a little bit of imagination, we used the plaster pieces to close it off and to make it feel more connected. There was one side that was kind of frustrating because the terrain was like really in an angle. So yeah, it looks a little bit wonky there, but I'll just pretend you have those kind of same wonky things in real life where you have like big roots of big oak trees and stuff on your path, and then things look a little bit wonky. So yeah, things like that happen. So we have some wonky stuff as well. So the habitat won't be full with enrichment items just because we don't really have space for it. So we have the termite mound and a sprinkler. And later I also added that new little log that we got with the Africa pack. But looking at the height of it, I really don't think that the Meerkats are able to use it, to be honest. Which is kind of a pity, but well, we just pretend that they would be able to access it, I guess. I don't know. I'm still having this thing with that log. I really wish that it was a little bit more, that we had a little bit more freedom to move it around and rotate it a little bit. But I don't know. I wish that was the case. And it just feels odd in most of the ways I feel when I use it. So yeah, I think this was a nice spot, but yeah, now they can't use it. So it's kind of useless still. So the outdoor habitat will be decorated with some African plants, African grass from the new pack, and of course some aquatic rocks here and there. And of course we will also have a big log laying down in the middle of the habitat and some cherry blossom trees because these branches just look really cool in my opinion. And I don't know, that big log thing was just really, I don't know, it felt right to add that one in this habitat. I did not really use that much inspiration. I did find one picture that just gave me this idea of this indoor building and the glass pieces, but I have no idea what habitat that actually is, like other than just the glass pieces itself and that there is an indoor section. I did not really inspire myself too much on that habitat. So I really don't know what zoo it was, to be honest. And other than that, I didn't want to go too crazy with the habitat because else there would really not be any space left for the meerkats to walk around, and that would be just such a shame in my opinion. So since we started with our very first education center in Abaya Zoo, for the penguins, if you have not seen it, I've made my very first education center, guys. You should go and check it out on the penguin habitat in Abaya Zoo. You can find it on the channel. I uploaded it last week and I'm very, very proud of it. But yeah, I definitely feel like we're going to use billboards a lot more often. So just like those penguin, African penguin signs that I used and like the webcams and stuff that I made for Abaya Zoo, you can also now download all these billboards from these meerkats in my Discord. You can find a link in the description down below. This time I did not make any webcams. I don't know, I just didn't feel it was really fitting. Like, it's not really an education center or anything like that. We do have a big sign here. We have two signs here. One big sign with some pictures and two, was it also I'm not really sure. I made two education signs and just some normal screenshots to use around the habitat. So if you want to use them, feel free to use them from my Discord server. But yeah, no webcams in this case because I don't know, it just doesn't really feel right for this habitat. And of course, the letters I did use for the bigger billboard are again from the lovely Ricey, which you can also download from the workshop yourself as well. Highly recommend you to check out those fonts because they're a lot smaller than the in-game fonts that you have. Also a lot of more pieces, obviously. But yeah, that comes along with the fonts. But they are just really, really great and so useful for making these billboards. So I love it. So the rest of this pre-built video will mostly be me filling in the gaps in between the habitat and the main path. I know a lot of you always ask for this, so that is the reason why I this time decided to keep this in the video for the people that want to know how I fill in these gaps. Please do let me know, of course, what you guys think of this new meerkat habitat and the return of our city zoo. When this whole area is finished, including the dingo habitat, we will definitely do a little tour of this whole area to show you guys how it all turned out and how everything fits in and blends in together. So I do really hope you guys are excited for that. For now, please do enjoy the rest of this pre-built video, and at the end of this video, you will see some nice cinematic shots of this habitat. Leave a like at the video if you guys enjoyed, and subscribe, of course, if you haven't already. And if you want to see more Planet Zoo content, I definitely have you covered on the channel. And you can also find me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and all those other social media pages, so definitely go and check out the link in the description. The links in the description, I should say. And yeah, I just really do hope to see you guys all in the next one. Bye, guys!
sizowaka nisibona silapha thina sizowaka thina nisibona silapha sizowaka nisibona silapha thina sizowaka thina nisibona silapha sizowaka nisibona silapha thina sizowaka nisibona silapha thina sizowaka